It's important on this day that we read those stories the way that we do, because we have short memories, and we have to be reminded every year, if not even more frequently, of why we're here. The text that I want to come back to as I share with you tonight is from the Isaiah passage that Haley read to begin our service, the suffering servant passage. Isaiah chapter 52, verses 12 and following. And I'm not going to, of course, read or comment on the whole thing, but I just want to point out a few things for us here tonight. So 52:13. Behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up. He shall be exalted. God's talking about Jesus here. Isaiah is prophesying, and he's speaking for God the Father. Behold, behold, look, look. And I want to tell you tonight, the devil doesn't want you to see it. He wants to say, don't look. He wants to say, it didn't really happen. He wants to say, it's not true. But God says, look, look. My servant, the Alpha, the Omega, the one with an eternal preexistence, the divine Son, the one who is co-equal, co-eternal, and indivisibly united with God the Father and God the Holy Spirit, the King of the cosmos. He becomes a servant. And sometimes we think we're too good for that kind of stuff. If we're worth serving in that way, then everybody's worth serving in that way. It says he shall act wisely. This is in contrast to you and me, you know. One of the things that today reminds us of, and this is a hard statement, but if we know it's true, we're fools. We're fools. We act foolishly. We're filled with pride. But Jesus, he didn't act foolishly. He acted wisely. And it's strange, isn't it, that when we look on Jesus dying on this is a hard day. It's the wisdom of God on display. We say wisdom in the world is reflected in how much money's in a bank account. That's what we say wisdom is. Oh, they're smart. No, that's smart. That's smart. That's smart. We say wisdom is measured this way. 33 years old, young man. The wisdom of God on display. And I'm gonna try to push on this a little bit, because the world looks upon the cross, so says Paul, and says the cross, the crucifixion, is foolishness to the Gentiles and it's scandalous to the Jews. And the scripture says, no, it's wisdom. Suffering is wisdom. Redemption is wisdom. And in what way is it wise? In what way is it wise? If you ever want to break into my online accounts, here's my password. Matthew 10:16. It says, you are to be as innocent as doves and as wise as serpents, right? In what way is it wise? I'm going to come back to this. He shall be high and lifted up and shall be exalted. And Jesus knows what this means. We may be thinking after his resurrection, he ascends to the right hand of the Father. And that's certainly true. that because of Jesus' faithfulness, he is exalted. And I think it's incumbent upon us to remember tonight that when we say it's wise to suffer, we do so because we remember that reward is coming. You too will be exalted with him. But when it says he acted wisely, he shall be high and lifted up, I can't help but picture that cross being stood up with him hanging on that thing, high and lifted up. And why does Jesus' death need to be public, right? Why does it have to be high so that everybody can see it, right? Lifted up so that no one can say I didn't see it. Why public? Well, I think for two reasons. I think one reason is that it's harder to obey when it's a public sort of thing like this. I've commented on this before. If God says, the Father is Jesus, now you're going to have to go and you're going to die. And he says, yeah, I'll do that. I should do it in the privacy of a hospital room, All right, yeah, that's palatable. We can do that. He says, no, I want you to. Did you notice the thing that struck me about those passages? They hit him. That's me, When we disobey, when we don't forgive, and we don't. That's us. It is. High and lifted up. He says, no, you're going to have to hang there for everybody to stare at you and look at you, and they're going to mock you. Hey, you got the sign wrong. He's not our king. He's not the king of the Jews. He said he was the king of the Jews. They're merciless, aren't they? He's hanging there. He's bleeding out, and they say, it's not enough. Give him more. Switch the sign. Take the clothes. Merciless. Why does it have to be public? Because Jesus is obedient no matter what. He says, no matter what it takes. You want me to hang? You want to take my clothes? You want to take my wine, my good wine? If that's what it takes. He loves us. It shows the extent of his obedience. Why is it public? It shows how obedient, no matter what, no matter how hard, no matter how difficult, no matter what it requires, I'll do it. But I think there's another reason. It's because if it's not in public, it's not marked by shame, right? Shame. He takes on our shame. That's the worst part, We go on living in secret sin, and we don't give a lick. It's when it gets pulled out into the light that we go, oh no, right? That's when it hurts. We're not worried about it hurting, even though it's hurting us when we're doing it in secret. We're worried about it hurting when everybody gets to see, I've been caught. And Jesus publicly takes on mine. Jesus says, you don't got to be ashamed. I'll do it. Catch me. Catch me. And then we go on sinning. High and lifted up. I want to do two more verses. And I'm going to come back to this wisdom thing. As many were astonished at you, his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind. Jesus is the only one that looks like the real human. We're the ones all twisted up. We're the ones who aren't true image bearers. The world was supposed to look at Matt and look at you and go, hey, that's what the holy God must look like. But we don't. They say, hey, they look like the devil. That's who they look. And Jesus comes along and he looks just like him, and we beat the out of him to the point where he's the one that doesn't have it. Who is that? They were astonished. You get this idea. Now the next verse. So shall he sprinkle many nations. This is atonement language. This is Old Testament language. They take the blood of the sacrifice and they sprinkle it on the altar. Clean, right? This is one of the reasons why we sprinkle people when we baptize them sometimes, is this verse right here, right? Sprinkle. It's enough, right? He says, he will clean the nations. Now, the kings shall shut their mouths because of him. Oh, that's good. The kings, the wise ones, the powerful ones, they will shut their mouths because of him. For that which has not been told them they see, and that which they have not heard, they understand. So in other words, what it's telling us is that what Jesus pulls off is so shocking that the successful people in the world look at him and go, we did it wrong. We did it wrong. He did it right. Now, to land this thing, wisdom. It disturbs me, it haunts me that the people who killed Jesus are the religious people. Because I'm a religious guy, you know. They missed it. There he was. Like, they knew their Bibles better than everybody and anybody, and they missed it. And I'm like, man, I read my Bible all the time. Would I miss him, you know? And here's the thing, y'all. We do miss him. He's right in front of us. You know where he is? He's out there with people who are hurting. That's where he is. We miss him. He's right in front. After his resurrection, they're all sad and they're upset, and he comes right there alongside them. What y'all talking about? He's standing right there and they don't even see him. Jesus hangs on the cross and says to John, behold your mother, your son. He's saying, take care of me. Take care of my people. And it haunts me that they missed it. Not only did they miss it, like they weren't even going, he might be it, he might not be it, I'm not sure. I'm kind of like an agnostic on the matter. I don't really judge those who follow him, but I don't judge those who don't. I'm kind of in the middle. There were those, but the religious people were the ones, they didn't just miss it, they said, he's the devil. That's a big miss. That's a big miss. And I'm going, why? Why did they miss it, you know? And I think there's probably lots of reasons for that. You know, this whole astonishment. One of my favorite parts of the stories that I don't think we read was where the Roman soldier looks on and says, surely he was the Son. And I think one reason they missed it is because in our sin, like our minds are so twisted, there's no category for it at all. None whatsoever. Oh, I got problems. You know what the answer is? The guy from Nazareth. Nah, man, that ain't for me. Like, we're so inwardly bent that there's no way that could be the solution to my problems. They don't see it. So I think that's one reason why they missed it. But wouldn't you think that God would have known, and he did know, that they were going to miss it, that he would have made it clearer in the prophecies, right? We're reading Isaiah, and they're talking about the substitutionary death, the penal substitute. He will take on and by his wounds we're healed, all this great stuff. And why didn't God say in where did we stop? We stopped in verse 5. Why not add another verse that his name shall be Jesus, and he's from Nazareth, and he's going to be a carpenter, and he's going to be born of a virgin and the adopted son of Joseph. Why not? He would have made it super clear. Why didn't God fully disclose the details? Because God's wise. And there's a few reasons. One reason is he wants us to have faith and respond, you know. But there's another reason. Jesus says, my life's given as a ransom. What? A ransom? What in the world does that mean? If the devil knew that by killing the Son, it'd set the rest of us free, do you think he'd do it? You're darn right he wouldn't. The devil's not omniscient. He doesn't know what's going on. He was in the Pharisees, and the Pharisees didn't know what was going on. Why didn't God disclose it more plainly? Because he was going to trick the trickster. Jesus shows up in the synagogue, and he starts teaching, and the demons cry out. Isn't that sad? The demons recognize Jesus before the people of God do. We know who you are. But they don't know what he's doing there. We know, what the heck are you doing here, man? We know exactly who you are. What are you doing here? Sometimes I think that about me. What are you doing in here, man? I know who you are. What are you doing in here? You belong up there. He says, no, I belong with you. They don't know. They don't know why he's there. Jesus is walking around Nazareth. He's walking around Galilee and Caesarea Philippi, and he's casting out demons. And they are obeying him. Demons got to obey him. Isn't that crazy? A lot of times the demons obey him more than you do. That's sad, y'all. But guess what? Today's a sad day, right? He's high and lifted up to show us the kind of people we are. We do that to him, right? Not trying to be hard on you, trying to be biblical. If God had made it immensely clear, okay, he's going to go, this is going to be his name, and this is where he's going to live, and he's going to die, and he's going to rise, and the rest of the world is going to be set free, the devil would have never taken the bait. He would have never taken the bait. And Jesus goes, yeah, I'll go. The devil, what's he going to do? Oh, we got him. He's going to die. We're going to kill, and we're going to win this thing. We're going to kill the author of life. We're going to stamp him out. We've got him. Isn't it funny how isn't the story awesome? The little details of the story. That when the soldiers, did you catch the part that when the soldiers come up to him, which one of you? He says, I am. Now, it's translated, I am he. But the he ain't there in Greek. It says, I am. And it says they fall back. The devil enters Judas. Satan enters Judas, and Judas goes. Satan's orchestrating this whole thing. We got him. And he shows up. Which one? I think it's a mocking thing. They know who he is. We got you. Which one of you? And Jesus makes the statement, I am. And I think that forces the powers of darkness back. Like, don't forget who we're dealing with here, y'all. And they come up and they ask again. And Peter pulls out his sword and cuts off the guy's ear. And Jesus says, we ain't got to do it like that. I'm so big, I don't need swords. Put the swords in my hands. I'll set you free. We don't need the sword. It's not how we do it. Isn't it? It's cool to me that it gives us the guy's name, cuts his ear off. High priest servant. Have you heard the sermon, Tom? Malchus's ear. You haven't heard the sermon? Oh, there's a guy that Tom and I know who preaches a sermon about Malchus's ear. And he says, imagine that story, right, Malchus? Peter slices his ear off and Jesus heals it, puts it back on. And Malchus goes back to Caiaphas. And notice Caiaphas didn't go himself, coward, right? Send somebody else to do the job. And he says, Malchus, how'd it go? Yeah, it was good. What's the matter? Nothing. No, what are you pulling out your ear for? Wow, something weird happened. Is it on there? So what happened? Oh, you know the fisherman guy that's rowdy one? Peter. Yeah. Cut my ear off. You know he didn't. Your ear's on your head. Yeah, but you know the guy we went, he put it back on. He healed me. Man. We go to betray him and capture him, and he heals us in response. So, I am. They back up and they come back. Who's the one? He says. And no, Jesus he's in control the whole time. He never loses. When I say control, I don't mean his compartment. Is that the right word in English? I know you Stacy, I'm thinking of his what's the word? His composure, that's the word. Thank you, Jenny. He never loses. I don't mean control. I don't mean he keeps his composure. I mean, he's offering himself. He gives himself. Here I am. We got him. We got him. The devil didn't know. Jesus says, I give my life as a ransom. That by killing Jesus, that it was going to be a substitute for me and for you. And he killed him. And I can picture the scene. Jesus goes down into hell. Jesus goes into our hell, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And I can just picture the demons cheering. We got him. We won. Here he is. Look, the author of life. He's right here in the underworld. He's in the place of death. He ain't going to be here long. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm going to take all these with me too. He acted wisely. He was careful. He knew what he was doing. Let me finish with this. I've been laying in this for a while, but I think it's an important moment, Verse 5. He was pierced for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. And with his wounds, we are healed. We are healed. When Jesus goes to the cross, he's carrying the cross. He proceeds to the cross. And that's the language of the scriptures. He goes to the cross. And this idea of him giving his life as a ransom, we can't miss. He's coming to get us. That's what he's doing. He's coming to get us. He's going to that place, the worst place, the place of shame. Cursed is the one who hangs on a tree. And we sit there under the curse. And he goes, come on, get up. And he's got nails in his hands and scar marks in his hands and his feet. And he raises us up. When he goes to the cross, we cannot miss this. He's not going somewhere outside of us. What's the name of the place? Starts with a G. Golgotha. The bad place, the worst place, the cursed place. Yeah, he went to that place. He went outside of the camp, but he went there to go and get me and you. And it is a place outside of it. It's a place in time and space. It's a place in history. But where he's going is in here. In here. And he goes, give me that heart of yours. I'm going to take it. all that brokenness, all that bitterness, all that sadness, all that depression, all that fear, all that worry, all that shame. I'm going to take it out of there. And here, I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you mine. And it's going to beat in you. This one's going to die. But this one right here, it'll never stop beating. You're going to live forever. And your life's going to look like mine. He heals the wounded heart. He heals the wounded heart. And what do I have to do to get it? Just let him. That's it. He did the work, y'all. You don't have to, you can't add to it. Just let him do it. That's all you got to do. You just got to let him take it. Nothing else. Because he did it. He did it. He did it. Jeremy, would you come pray?